What's up, everybody? Tiffany Outdoors here. Today we're going to be building a miniature Adirondack chair for my dog River. This is going to be so cute if I can pull it off. All right, y'all, let's go. There's the hawk. Before there was a Tiffany Outdoors, there was Tiffany the farmer.
On U-turn when possible.
No, we're not U-turning.
Hi. Hi, what are you doing? Hi, Boo.
All right, these are the chairs that Joe chose for the back deck. If you haven't seen those previous videos, I redid the back deck and took it from a rotten mess to all this nice new wood here, nice new steps, and some of the banister rails I reused because they were still in good condition. There were some that were rotted or split, so I had to use some new ones. But when we're sitting out here, we want River to have a place to sit too. Right now, she currently just sits wherever she can fit. And I kind of want to make her a little chair to match our chairs. So this is the idea. It's probably going to be difficult. It might be difficult to do, but I am going to make it happen. I want it to match these chairs. So I went and bought, since the theme is kind of like a black color for the to kind of match the furniture, so I went and bought this black and white cushion for River's chair, so that way she'll have a little cushion to sit on too. Let me take some measurements. I already went to the hardware store. I got some wood, and I'm going to be using dog-eared fence panels for this, the little slats. So let's see what I can do. All right, I'm going to take some measurements, and then I'll come back to you guys. I think one of the most difficult parts of this build is going to be like getting this curve, getting it just right, but on a smaller scale. So I'm going to lay my board on top of this and then trace it from underneath. Let's see if I can kind of get that curve. Let's see what happens. See. Yeah, it's gonna be the hard part. I need to make two of these, so I'll cut one out and then use that one as my template to make the second leg. There we go. Zoomed it in so you guys can see that pencil mark there is my 2 5/8, and I made there's like some dots, a couple dots there, and what I'm going to do is join those dots together. Now I'm going to cut that out with my jigsaw. I'm going to cut these 2.5 inches wide, use them for slats and for the rest of the chair, I think. Alright, I've cut my legs down to length. I took the cushion and measured it and gave it probably almost all the way to the end here. Now I just need to figure out how tall to make this. I don't want it too tall, but I think this right here will do it. Now I need to figure out how wide this is going to be. Uh, 17 1/4 inches is what I've got. So I'm gonna cut one slat. No, two of these that are 17 1/4 inches. Okay, so this is what I'm going off of. I've got my legs, I've got the two uprights, I've got that slat there, and there's also a slat that goes in between this leg and the leg on the other side as a brace. Now I'm going to build this little box here. So I need two that are 17 1/4 because that's the length of the chair, or the width. I'm sorry, that's the width of the chair. So I need a top and a bottom to that box, and attached to that box are going to be the slats for the back. I have to figure out how tall to make those and how tall to make the uprights. If I haven't mentioned it yet, I've got all these boards off the 50% off pile, so I try to find as many straight boards as I can. You see this one's got a little curve on the end. I'm going to lop that off, get rid of that, but I'm going to use, there's quite a bit of usable straight space on there, and this one has a little split right here on that end. I'm not going to use that part anyway because it's the dog-eared side. I'm going to lop that off and then use the rest, and then I'm going to make my slats out of this. Alright, now I'm going to cut these down to what was it? 2 5/8 inch. I've decided to make my slats 23 inches long so I can get 3 boards out of one of these long boards. Try to make the most of it, but 23 inches is going to be my number. I'm going to use my miter saw to cut one, and then I'll use that one as a template to cut the rest. Alright, as it turns out, 6 was the perfect number for those. Gave me nice tight spacing like I wanted. Okay, now I'm going to cut the other board down to 2 5/8, 2 boards, 2 5/8, and I need those to be 17 inches wide. That's going to be for the seat slats. So I'll cut those next, and then I'll come back to you. Alright, I got 6 pieces of the seat slats. So next I want to make, let me turn it like this. Trying to hold this with one hand, but you see this little piece right here? It's like a support for the arm. I've got these 2 pieces of scrap here. I'm going to use this. So what I did was I took it over to the chair and I traced out the shape on there about this, it's about as close as it's going to get. I'm going to use my jigsaw to cut out the first one, and then use that as my prototype to cut out the second one. Okay, now all I have to do is make the arms. I just don't know how long to make them. And in order to do that, I'm going to go ahead and start sanding this stuff down. Alright, now I'm going to sand all these pieces, painstakingly so. I'm going to sand them label them, and then we're going to start putting this thing together. Oh, I'm so excited. All right, y'all, it's assembly day. I'm going to start with the back box that holds the slats for the back. Let's do that first. I will be drilling some pilot holes. I'm going to use a little scrap piece so I can see where the wood will probably line up. All right, now we're going to do the legs. Okay, so this is how we're going to do this. So you got this back end of the leg. I'm going to line this up with the edge of this table because I know this is about as square and flat as it will be. So I'm going to clamp the leg like this. I'm going to clamp that. Okay. And then on the other end, you upright. It's also going to go about as flat and even, and we want it to cover up the end. Ideally, this will be exact. It's not. It's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. So I'm going to go right to the end of that and get this even with the table on this end. Let's see, I need something underneath it. A little piece of scrap underneath to hold it up. Like so. Okay. And now, and because it's not going into end grain, I don't have to drill pilot holes, but I am going to. I'm going to drill 2 pilot holes. And 2 screws. Okay. Then that's gonna sit like that. It has begun. All right, I want to get the other side. Let's see. The other side, I'm going to have to do on the opposite end of the table. All right, now you should have two leg assemblies. All right, y'all, this thing is really starting to take shape. All right, I got my seat slats. I'm going to go ahead and put those in. Drilling pilot holes. And I guess for these, I don't need 2 screws. I'm just going to put 1 screw in each slat. Alright, we're going to take our box here for the back slats and put those on. I'm just going to line them up on that edge there and leave them all sticking out long at the top. So what I'm going to do is start with the two outside pieces, line them up, and then evenly space the other ones in between. I'm going to do these the same way, put one screw each end. Okay, now that we have the back slats on, now we can cut a little curve, which I'll end up cutting the two outside pieces. I just got to find the curve of what works. I also have this. This was from the curve of the leg. I could use this, but how accurate would it be? I mean, I guess I can only try. Let's see, I guess I'm gonna line it up with the outside of this and the end of that. Let's see what that looks like. Okay. I'm gonna go get my jigsaw and we're gonna cut this. Huh. Wow, that looks cute. Hey, I like it. Yes. Alright, now the tricky part of getting the back onto the rest of the chair. Let's see. This is gonna be a little tricky, but I'm gonna use clamps. Y'all, if you're by yourself, clamps are your friend. Alright, let's see here. I'm gonna... Now I'm going to put on this back leg brace. Mine started to split a little bit, so I put some exterior wood glue, Type Bond 3, which is waterproof, and then I clamped it down with some painter's tape. Goodness, this thing is really taking shape. All right, now I can figure out the arms. Let's take a look at the model, and then I'll come right back and come up with a design. Okay, our next step is put on the rear arm braces. This is also going to be tricky. Alright, I'm going to be working on the right side of the arm. I'm going to use this block, which is the rear arm support block, and just draw an outline here so that I can put in 2 pilot holes. I just dumped all my screws out. Okay. Now I'm gonna, let's see, use this to can't believe I just accidentally dumped all my screws out. Alright, I'll line this up as best as I can. Alright, this is going to be for the right side. For the left side, do the opposite. Now we have our front arm supports. I'm going to put that on, drill 2 pilot holes, and screw it in. And now, screw in one from the top. Oh my God, they're so cute. Alright, I'm going to do the same on the other side. Last thing I need to do is paint this thing. I'm going to put 2 coats of this black gloss paint on there. Alright guys, before I show you the final reveal, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye. You like? It's your chair.